City of Cape Town, the MMC for Safety and Security, JP Smith, saying a meeting has been scheduled for next week, Monday, with the taxi organization Santaco. Santaco yesterday withdrawing its services across the province over members' taxis being impounded. The strike is set to continue until next week, Wednesday.
This morning from very early started with SAPs, with all available resources across the city directed at this, escorting buses, keeping commuters safe, keeping ranks safe, trying to help everybody to get to work as best we can, seeing with the public transport operators how we can optimize additional resources to compensate for the taxis withholding their service. The doors to the Santaco remain open. We are not the ones who terminated the conversation. There was a meeting scheduled from Monday, which they walked away from. So we have never shut the door on conversation. The industry did, without warning and without consultation. So they must take a very large responsibility for what I do believe is an irrational decision.
Well, let's get an update on the ground. Our reporter Nasiphi Same is in Cape Town, joins me live now. Nasiphi, good morning to you. A little earlier, I had that conversation with JP Smith, and he says to me that the buses are being escorted to get inside the townships because people do need transport to get around. Is that indeed what you are witnessing on the ground?
Well, we actually have not seen any buses that are being escorted. The ones that we saw were not escorted from early on this morning around 6 o'clock in places like Milnerton. And even the buses that stop at Botcher's Quarry at the entrance of Nyanga, those buses are not escorted. I mean, looking at the bus that was torched in Khayelitsha, you then ask the question, if it was escorted, how did criminals or whoever torched the bus take that opportunity when a bus is being escorted? But however, I mean, we are not sure where exactly the buses that are being escorted are. We do understand that according to the city and police, that they were escorting buses in hotspot areas. However, we don't know if Khayelitsha perhaps is one of those communities that is a hotspot. But to talk to us in regards to some of the things that government is currently saying, I'm joined by Santaco here, someone from Santaco, Ange. So thank you so much for your time. But we understand that there's whispers that possibly next week Santaco or the taxi industry will be meeting around the table with government to map a way forward following the disruption that we saw in the past 2 days.
Thank you. We are not aware of that because no correspondence has been sent to us as yet. Maybe they are thinking of that and they are still going to consult with us, but not yet.
Well, we've obviously seen disruption, the stoning of buses, private cars, trucks being torched since you announced your stay away yesterday afternoon, and various protest action. And we understand that these protest actions are not just happening in the city of Cape Town, throughout the province. Is the taxi industry taking any sort of responsibility for this?
No, not at all. We are not taking responsibility of what is happening because our vans are standing at the taxi ranks at our houses and we are not operating. So we are not accountable or responsible for whatever that is happening on the street.
The taxi industry obviously has a great influence in various communities, seen as leaders in some communities. Don't you think perhaps you should have brought in various community structures and spoken to them and called on for calm during your stay away?
In yesterday's meeting, actually, we had community structures, and Santaco was part of that, and they spoke, fortunately, in that meeting and endorsed the stay away. More especially taking into consideration what happened on Tuesday at Cape Town Station deck, and also the driver who was shot on Wednesday. So they felt that they need to support us in this. So we've got their support behind.
But I mean, every time there's stairways or there's a protest of the taxi industry when they're disgruntled, we tend to see other modes of transport being targeted. So was there no way of perhaps Santaco, the taxi industry, calling for calm during this period?
We have spoken to our operators, we have spoken to our drivers, and that they need not to involve themselves in any criminal activities. Hence, we are saying that we are not taking responsibility of what is happening out there. But, third force can come, and enter into the space when they see the announcement, when they see the activities that are taking place, So we don't know. We don't know who is involved.
What then happens or rather a driver is arrested as part of the people responsible for the violent attacks that we're seeing on other modes of transport? Is there going to be any action taken against them?
Yes, we have a code of conduct, and if the driver is arrested doing whatever on our streets, then we take action against that driver or that particular operator.
And lastly, seeing the people or the commuters that you usually transport to and fro work, walking all the way from Cape Town to places like Khayelitsha and being stranded, does that not tug you in a way of going back to government and trying to resolve this impasse that you have?
Yes, that is painful to us. We feel it badly. But as I say, that we consulted at least with the community structures so that they can also extend our plight to our commuters. And one other thing is the city of Cape Town, with the government of the Western Cape, they also need to take responsibility of what is happening, because we are in this situation because of their stubborn. It's because we had a task team whereby we related all this challenging to them, but there was nothing positive coming from their side. Hence, we therefore decided to pull out of the task team and be involved in the stairway.
Thank you so much. Nceba there of Santaco. A lot of blame shifting there between government and the taxi industry. However, Nceba indicating that the reasons why they stepped away from that task team that was supposed to deal with the core issues that, or rather the plight of the taxi industry, was the fact that their pleas and their grievances were not being heard. However, he's saying that as much as it pains the taxi industry seeing their commuters being stranded and walking kilometers to get home, they are indeed tied, or rather their hands are tied up until such a point that government is willing to sit around the table and discuss that very contentious amended bylaw by the City of Cape Town regarding the impounding, including permits, which is some of the many issues that the industry says that they are currently faced with, or some of their challenges.
Live for us in Cape Town, Nasiphi Same, thank you very much for that update.